And finally, Aaliyah, what are you going to do with your prize money?
That's for me to know.
Congratulations, lady. Back to you guys.
When DeWanna Bonner walked into the Indiana Fever locker room in June of 2025, nobody knew what to say. The veteran forward had just left the team after 9 games, and according to Lexie Hull, the players were blindsided. "We're all just kind of like, what happened?" To have no explanation was really challenging, Hull told Glamour magazine. But here's what makes that moment so fascinating. While everyone was focused on the organizational changes happening around Caitlin Clark, the real story was unfolding in that locker room. Because the question nobody was asking publicly was the one that mattered most. How do you actually live with being Caitlin Clark's teammate? The Indiana Fever brought in a lot of new pieces for the 2025 season. New coach Stephanie White, veterans like DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, and Sydney Colson. All of it designed to support their young core of Clark, Aliyah Boston, and Kelsey Mitchell. On paper, it looked like a championship roster. But there's always been this question hanging in the air. When one player draws that much attention, when one player has that much power, what happens to everyone else? We've seen it before in basketball.
After Caitlin declared for the draft, fans were posting Shaq and Kobe memes about the thought of her playing.
I know, they kept tagging me. I was like, guys.
What do you think about that? When you say that?
I think it just goes to show the energy around women's basketball, the excitement around it, that they're making such great comparison.
Think back to the Miami Heat when LeBron James, Dwyane Wade, and Chris Bosh first came together. Talented players, big egos, and it took time to figure out who they were as a team. The Fever faced something similar, except the spotlight was even more intense because of Clark's meteoric rise. Let's start with Aliyah Boston because she might be the most important voice in all of this. Boston was the #1 overall pick in 2023. A year before Clark arrived, she had her own Rookie of the Year season, her own spotlight. Then Clark showed up, and the entire dynamic changed. But if you listen to Boston talk about Clark, you hear something different than what you might expect. There's no resentment there. In fact, she's become one of Clark's most vocal supporters. Back in July of 2024, when Clark set the WNBA single-game assists record, Boston jumped in during the press conference. Clark was doing what she always does, deflecting credit to her teammates, and Boston interrupted her. She's going to say it means nothing, but I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I feel like everyone talks about it. I'll see it on social media. They'll be like, Caitlin has so strong muscles, and don't tell her I said that either. don't even mention that.
Yeah.
But I think her strength, I mean, she gets in the paint and she's able to bully her way in and finish strong at the basket. I mean, everyone talks about, once again, her three-point shooting, and we've all seen her passing, but I think her ability to get downhill and really...
A few weeks earlier, when Clark recorded the first triple-double in Fever history, Boston did it again. She's so humble, isn't she? That's pretty cool. Caitlin, great job, sister. Boston explained her thinking in an interview with Sports Illustrated. "I think that the best way for our league to continue to grow and flourish is to always build players up," she said. "There are too many narratives with bad intentions or that don't build up our league, and I think it's important to focus on accomplishments on the court more than anything else." That's a very deliberate choice on Boston's part. She's watched how the media can create division, and she's made a conscious decision not to let that happen. The two of them actually have history that goes back before the WNBA. They played together on Team USA's Under-19 squad in 2019 in Bangkok, Thailand. So they already knew each other's games when Clark came to Indiana. And they developed this pre-game ritual together, an affirmation they say to each other before taking the court.
Just expecting the physicality was the biggest thing. Like, those aren't calls you're gonna get. Like, they're gonna get those calls. It is what it is. And I think that was basically all she said. Like, just be calm, be aggressive, and be you.
You're going to be amazing because you are amazing. Clark liked it so much that when Wilson released her second signature basketball collection in June of 2025, she put that phrase on one of the balls. It only appears in red lettering when the ball is in sunlight. In September, Boston went on Sue Bird's podcast and talked about the chemistry they've built. She acknowledged that it took time. I wonder why. Maybe it's because we've gotten a good amount of games under our belt and we've actually had time to practice and gel together and work on stuff. Sometimes that's just how things work, she said. Then she got into the specifics of why Clark makes everyone better. Caitlin, the attention that she gets teams are like up. If they're under and dropped, that shot is going up because I'm going to set a good screen. In other words, Boston benefits from how much defensive attention Clark draws.
It is so special, and it is really a blessing to have won Rookie of the Year. It is one of the goals that I set for myself at the beginning of the season, and to be able to accomplish it with God's help was amazing. So thankful for my teammates because they were really able to put me in the position. Thankful for my coaches because they motivated me.
Now let's talk about Kelsey Mitchell, because her decision to stay with the Fever tells you everything you need to know about the team dynamic. Mitchell was a free agent after the 2024 season. She's 29 years old, a two-time All-Star, and this was her chance to explore other options. The Fever used their core designation on her, which meant they could offer her a one-year Supermax contract worth about $249,000. But Mitchell could have requested a trade. According to Kelly Krauskopf, the Fever's president, re-signing Mitchell was priority number one. She's our number one priority. We do have the opportunity to core her, and it would be sort of irresponsible of me if we didn't utilize that opportunity, Krauskopf said on the Locked On Women's Basketball podcast back in November of 2024. But the decision was ultimately Mitchell's. She could have gone elsewhere. Mitchell told The Next what went into her thinking.
Aliyah Gray, 20 points apiece. Naz Hillman with 14 of her 16 in the second half. And Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell in Indiana get ready to head back to the Midwest as Aliyah Gray is with Holly Rowe.
I think right time and right place. I put in some work with the ladies only a year ago. Obviously, changes were made. I think there was a lot of good basketball played, and I think that I want to try it again. So that, and being close to home, my dynamic is different in family, so to be close to my family, still get one more year at it. That phrase stuck out to a lot of people. One more year at it. Mitchell has been with the Fever since 2018, through all the losing seasons, and now that they're finally competitive, she wants to see it through. But she's also being realistic about her future. When Mitchell signed her deal on January 29, 2025, both Clark and Boston celebrated on social media. The organization even lined up Pacers sports and entertainment employees to welcome her back when she arrived at the facility. Mitchell reportedly had 19.2 points per game in 2024, shooting 46.8% from the field and over 40% from three-point range. Those were career highs. Playing alongside Clark clearly worked for her game, and she wasn't interested in starting over somewhere else. Then there's Lexie Hull, and her situation is particularly interesting because she's the one who stepped up when Clark got injured. Hull had a breakout season in 2025, averaging over 10 points per game for the first time in her career. But the statistics tell a complicated story. When Clark was on the floor, Hull shot 48.2% from the field. When Clark was out, that number dropped to 31.8%. Her three-point percentage fell by 25 points. The difference was dramatic. But Hull never complained about it. In fact, she praised Clark's leadership even while she was injured. In an interview with Mark Medina in August, Hull said, "I've been impressed with her maturity through it. It's not easy to go day to day and continue to think, maybe this is my day, maybe it's not. But she continues to come in and be the person that she is. She's funny and a jokester. She brings energy and a light to situations that could be really dark." Hull also talked about how Clark stayed involved even when she couldn't play. "She just continues to show up. Every day she's not in our film sessions, but she comes in and is part of the team and part of the group. She's there. We know she's there. She shows up, makes smiles, and makes jokes. It would be really easy to just come in and do treatment and not be a happy person, but she's a happy person through it all. We're really grateful for that." Which brings us back to DeWanna Bonner. The veteran forward signed with Indiana in February of 2025, reuniting with coach Stephanie White from their time together in Connecticut.
You know, DB is vocal. She might not say it in front of the masses, but she certainly is going to bring the team together and bring players off to the side and talk to them about what it takes, about the little things.
Bonner is a six-time All-Star, a two-time champion, and she ranks fourth all-time in WNBA scoring. On paper, she was exactly what the Fever needed: championship experience, veteran leadership, someone who could help guide the young core. But it didn't work out. Bonner only played 9 games for the Fever and only started 3 of them. In early June, she stepped away from the team for what were described as personal reasons. Then, on June 25th, the Fever waived her. Bonner issued a statement saying, "Despite our shared goals and excitement heading into the season, I felt the fit did not work out." She later rejoined the Phoenix Mercury. Here's where it gets interesting. According to Fever general manager Amber Cox, Bonner expressed her dissatisfaction 9-10 games into the season, but nobody told the players what was happening. Hull said she was super excited about having a veteran like Bonner to learn from. And then she randomly leaves, and we're all just kind of like, what happened? Hull told Glamour. To have no explanation was really challenging, but I think that helped us grow closer together because we're like, all right, this is us. The Fever went on a winning streak after Bonner left. They won 5 straight games without Clark, showing that the remaining players had bought into what they were building. Coach Stephanie White called it a blessing in disguise that Clark's injuries forced other players to step up. But the subtext was clear. The team that stayed together was the team that wanted to be there. What all of this reveals is that building a team around a superstar like Caitlin Clark requires more than just talent. It requires players who are willing to accept their roles, who understand that the spotlight won't always be on them, and who genuinely want to be part of something bigger. Boston, Mitchell, and Hull all made that choice. They could have resented the attention Clark gets. They could have demanded trades or complained publicly. Instead, they embraced it. Boston became Clark's biggest cheerleader. Mitchell signed back with the team even though she had other options. Hull praised Clark's leadership even while dealing with her own struggles. Before the 2025 season started, Clark, Boston, and Mitchell all told the front office the same thing. According to White, they said, "Take care of our locker room. It's not win at all costs. Take care of our locker room." That tells you what they value. And the players who couldn't get on board with that, like Bonner, didn't last. The Indiana Fever story isn't just about Caitlin Clark's talent or the organizational changes happening around her. It's about the players who chose to stay, who chose to support each other, and who chose to build something together. Boston, Mitchell, and Hull all had reasons to feel overshadowed. Instead, they found ways to thrive alongside Clark. That's the real story of power in Indiana. Not who has it, but who's willing to share it. What do you think? Do players like Boston and Mitchell deserve more credit for how they've handled playing with Clark? Let me know in the comments, and if you found this interesting, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into women's basketball.